Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This video again is just going to be a bit of an update. It'll be in bits and pieces just because I'm sort of setting up low tanks, and the idea is that I'm going to sort of just talk through products. I will do full videos on some other tank setups, but for these ones I'm just going to sort of do bits and pieces and sort of show you what I've done and talk about what I've done as I've done it, pretty much because they're quite low on the racking, and the problem with being low on the racking is my back's not brilliant, so I'll get a bit done and we'll sort of show you. I'm just going to flip the camera for now. So we've moved this racking. Everything's still a mess. I'm topping up tanks here. So with the big rack, a lot of these, as I mentioned previously, are going to be temporarily on here, but what I've done is I've took that 45 lowboy out and I've got a couple of the smaller tanks in from the house. As you can see, I'm just drip acclimating those, done water changes at the same time. So those two in the left hand corner are new. I have moved the aluminium racking out and we've put these tanks in. I've set one up at the bottom, so this would have been the 45 that was on the other tank, and then I'm literally in the process. I'm just about to set this tank up. I am going to run it off a different pump, and the lighting is temporary as well. I've got lighting that I need to screw to the underside of the shelves, hence me not only doing the bottom two tanks, and I can't do those until I've got the foam to go underneath, which is on order. So this tank here on the bottom right then is going to get set up. I'm going to do this one with Master Soil and Qualdrop products. I don't sell Master Soil, but this bag down here I got from Jacob at Happy Shrimp House. When it was imported, customs had a bit of a nose in it, and Jacob let me have that on offer. So I've had that sort of stored ready to do my setup for quite a while, but it's all taped up and stuff. So I'm going to get that in. Once I've got that in, I'll talk, or I might video some of the products I'm going to use. So until then, I'll speak to you in a second. So we decided to set the tripod up and go through this process. As I mentioned, I'm going to be using Master Soil that was sent me from Jacob at Happy Shrimp House. This bag had been opened by customs. I'll just show you the bag here. So the bag does have tape on it, so Home Office, Border Force. So apparently the Home Office and Border Force can go through your stuff and there's no repercussions. I understand why, but it'd be nice if you could get some sort of payback from it, and if anyone knows if you can claim, then let me know in the comments, because that's always worth knowing. You know, a lot of our products come from abroad, and touch wood, up until now, anything that I've imported I haven't had any issues with. But what I want to do then is just going to go through this tank. So what I've got with this tank then, and all of these tanks to be honest, is I've got a piece of glass at the back, and on the side of that I've got a sponge or matting, different sponges, different matting filters, and then there's an uplift tube inside, and within that box what I can do is put whatever else I want. So mesh bags of soil, some biomedia, stuff like that if I want to. For now I'm just going to use that sponge. It's only a 45 litre tank. That sponge is plenty. A double sponge filter would run on this tank. But what I am going to do is I'm going to be using two products. So I'm going to be using PS Bacta, which we do sell, and likewise Bio Nitro. And what I'm going to do first of all then is, because I'm only putting a thin layer of substrate down, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sprinkle this on the base, liberally across the base of the tank. So I'll get that done and I'll come back to you and sort of show you where we're at with that. So as you can see, I've put a liberal sprinkling. There's a big lump at the back which I'll get to sort of just flick around a little bit, but I put this on the base of the tank, and the reason I've done this is because I'm only using a thin layer of substrate, and I want it sort of mixed in with the substrate, so underneath and on top. And what I'll do is, once I've put the substrate in, I'll put a light sprinkling on top as well, so plenty of bacteria, as you can see. This soil does leach ammonia, so I'm sort of keen to get this cycle, plenty of biofilm, plenty of algae, stuff like that. So I'll get the substrate in and we'll come back. So now we've got a thin layer of substrate in. What I'll do is I'll put a light sprinkling of PS Bacta and Bio Nitro over the top of that. Apologies for the reflection, that's me sitting down on a chair, bad back as I said. So now that we've got the substrate in, and it is only a small layer, probably a litre and a half, what I'll do is I'm going to use some more PS Bacta, and I'm just going to sort of just liberally sprinkle that across the surface. And the difficulty about videoing and having it on the stand is getting over the back as well. So because I've only got a small sponge there, I do want to add a bit more filtration in here. What I'll do is I'm going to use some SL Aqua media. I'll get that and I'll sort of show you what I'm going to do with that. So there's plenty of different medias that you can use. I'm going to use this SL Aqua one. Additional ones that you could use, and we stock these as well, which are a similar shape, are Hyperpore by Qualdrop, or when I can put this back on the shelf, or Cube Pour. So Cube Pour are square, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a small layer of that inside the filter chamber at the back of the tank. So let's get that in. So I've added that box of filter media to the back filter. There's about a litre there. Some people might not like to see that. I could put a black cover in front of that if I wanted to, but personally it doesn't bother me. The one in the left tank is sort of side on, so it does look a little bit different. This one's pointing forward. What I probably will do here is I'll probably get a couple of mesh bags, fill them with the master soil and drop those into the filter as well. So that'll obviously give off a dark appearance anyway. The bags I use, the mesh bags, are black. One of the benefits is obviously you're adding more soil, so you've got a better buffering capacity. But what that also does is if you've got bags of cycled soil, it gives you the ability to cycle quicker on another tank should you need to, or do a reset or something like that. As you're all aware, I put dates, times and everything on my tanks as stickers on the front, so I know sort of when a tank's been set up and what needs doing and how long it's been in and so on. So let's get this filled and I'll come back. Okay folks, so a little change. I've still got that filter media in there, but what I've done is I've done a couple of bags of soil as well. So I put one bag at the front because I want the uplift tube inside, you know, to sort of be held. We've hidden the media, put another bag on top, and as I said, this sort of helps really to cycle the media for other projects. But I just want to quickly go through what my setup is here and sort of future plans for this. So I've got RO fitting on a tap connected to a pump, and this pump's a Sicce Ultra Zero. Don't stock them, but I can get them to order if anyone wants them. Connected to RO tubing, and then ultimately that connects to a tap. So when I do my system, my per rack system for top-ups, what I'll do is I'll drain out and bucket like normal people, and then to do my top-up I'll mix a big bucket, probably a 70 litre, and just throw this pump in, connect it to the rack, and it will top up all the tanks at the same time. The beauty of having the tap in here is that we can obviously adjust the flow, but because we're just filling this tank up, we'll just put that on full flow and we'll sort of work our way through this. I have remineralised this water with Qualdrop LC Plus, G8 Plus LC, low conductivity. It's my favourite at the moment, it's my favourite water conditioner. Really easy to use, simple dosing instructions, drop it into your mix of the required quantity. It will give you a TDS of around 140. For 5 GH, 140 to 150. Obviously you can adjust that as you need to, and away we go. So we'll get this filled, and I'm just looking at the way the water's filling, and this rack looks like it's leaning, so I may have to stop and adjust that. But let's see how we go with it, and we'll come back when it's finished. So that's the tank all finished now. We've got the glass lids on. We've got our temporary lighting on, as we mentioned earlier. The lighting is temporary. We've turned the airflow down a little bit because it was really fierce. I've got an air pump over on the side here that I do want to move. I'm going to lift that up higher, I think. It's currently in a box that's soundproofed, just to knock down the vibration a little bit, although you can still hear it. And I've put a sticker on the tank with the soil and the date that the tank was, well, the month and the year that the tank was started. So the idea is just watching the shrimp and understanding how old the soil is will give you an idea of whether that tank needs resetting. The beauty of these bags in the back is if I constantly sort of move those around and use them for other projects, I can drop new ones in and sort of cycle those in situ, and that sort of helps you to sort of get tank started quicker. But always keep a spare tank if you can, just for a reset. If you need to move any shrimp, get a tank cycled, move the shrimp, reset that tank, and sort of move on to the next one. So that's it for that tank. There's plenty more to go. So bit of a mess up here, but we've got plenty more to go. I need to get the foam for the underneath of the tanks, and once I've got those I can get the lighting fitted and get everything else done on this rack. And then once this rack's finished, we can move the other rack in and start moving stuff off the big 1200 rack and setting that up how I want to set that up. So if you've enjoyed this or any of our videos, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It does help to grow the channel, as does hitting the, smashing the like button. So the more likes you get, the obviously the algorithm works in your favour. So all of that's really appreciated, guys. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this one and look forward to the next one. Take care, everybody. Goodbye.